welcome to everybody. My name is Chris. I'll be your instructor for today for our Matrix automated search, email search course. You can utilize the questions portion of the GoToWebinar if you want to write me a message or a question or anything like that. And I don't think anybody else can see. Whatever you say, I can repeat it to the class if it's pertinent, and hopefully that's going to be okay, and I'll be able to answer any of your questions. Second, let me see. All right, so we got you guys in. So quick, I mean, let's wait a couple of minutes and do some chit chat to see if anybody else logs in. I'm a real estate broker, as are you. I work residential and commercial. So I've been doing this for 17 years now, which is a while. Welcome. Some of you may be newer, some of you may be older. I know some of you, but if anybody else wants to say how long you've been around, if you've been more new, if you're looking to just learn the tools, or if you're looking for a little refresher, let me know and I can hopefully gear it towards you. It always helps if you can follow along with the whatever you see on the screen on your side. So it's always good to learn with practice as you go along, if possible. What else can I tell you? It'll be nice to know a little bit about you guys if someone wants to say hello. Other than that, I can kind of jump into the material and see if it targets everything you guys are looking for. I mean, overall, we'll talk about setting up the search criteria for an automatic email and the different options we have in that. Modifications, dashboard, etc., and the client portal, which is kind of what they see instead of us, and the interaction between broker and client. So I'm always open to suggestions as to what you guys are looking for in terms of information. As you can see here, I'm logged into the Centris zone, the dashboard here with the corporate login. So none of my listings or anything are showing, but yours obviously would be. And I'm going to click on the Matrix tool to take us to the Matrix solution, right? The tool. Oh, can add columns. Okay, add. Let's say we are okay with that. And I think I can. That. Let's bump up the percentage here. I think like this, so you can see better on the screen, right? Hopefully that's to everybody's liking. And anybody, I'm open to suggestions as what kind of property we're looking for. Are you looking for anything in particular right now with your clients that you're looking for assistance or anything like that? I'm open to suggestions. Louise, hello. Paul, hello. If anybody has any suggestions, feel free to say. I mean, other than that, I mean, I can do a random search for something and we can set up the search criteria as you wish. No suggestions. All right, let me just go. I'll go to search. Let's say single family home, general. Let's say Montreal. Let's say Outremont. Why not? I mean, as you can see, for those of you who follow, use this tool often, anytime you click anything around here, in the search criteria, the system automatically does a pre-search in the background, tell you how many properties are you down to, right? I mean, 21 is not many, but then again, Ultramar is not the biggest of areas, especially for detached homes, right? So if I click, if we see here, this is our active search of properties in Ultramar. And let's say our client is looking for something in the $3 to $4 million range. Let's say, zeros, yeah, or let's say just more than $3 million. Okay, they're looking for certain caliber of property. As you can see, we're down to 11, right? If I click results, obviously we can see these properties. We're not that interested in them, but they are, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what they are. We're looking for the search criteria for an automatic email, right? So here, as I have my search criteria selected, whatever the criteria is that you're looking for, right, or your client is looking for, you have to click results first time around, select them all, and we can click new auto email, right? As we click new auto email, the system is asking, well, to whom are we going to be assigning this search to be sent? And here you have, I mean, you can see I have, basically me like 7 or 10 different ways, right? So I'm just going to click myself there. Or you can create a new contact. We'll do that afterwards. Okay, we'll do a few different ones. And you can also I highly suggest keeping this like anything that is sent to your client for the system to blind copy an email to you, just so you know that received something new. So the first time around, it's the initial welcome email as we have it here, and any other email afterwards will be the recurring email. And you have the two different settings here because you can customize it to your liking or to your client's liking. If you are also, depending on the language, etc., you can do everything here as you see fit. Obviously, the system, being in Montreal, Quebec, the system is geared to French and English. But those of you who want to write something in Russian to their clients, or Mandarin, or Cantonese, or Urdu, I mean, or Polish. Like, let's say if I want to write to a Polish client, I can, right? So it's just up to you to customize it to your liking as you see fit, right? Subject, let's say we're going to give it 2023. Oh, no, 10. 10. Where are we today? 18th. 10/18. Automated search. Let's just call it that. I mean, usually I would name my client, John, detached home in Outremont, or whatever, right? However you want to call it, you can always edit it later, right? But that'll be the subject of the email message that the server is going to send out. Obviously here, as you can see, I'm logged in with my Centris corporate login. So it's the Centris information here. I mean, for you guys, it says hello and your name, right? You can customize these signatures in here, or you can customize them in your Centris or Matrix settings here. If you want to go into settings, you can, right? Or here as well, right? I'm going to leave it as it is because to me the signature here doesn't really matter, but it's the search criteria and everything else that matters. And as you can see, this is going to be fired off to my Hotmail. Give me a second. Let me open up my Outlook just so I'll be ready to receive the messages. And at this point, I just want to show you a few other options. You can enable concierge mode or not, and you can enable it on your as a favorite search on your home tab or not. Okay, I'm going to click the favorite search because I actually am not a fan of the concierge mode. I will show it to you later for the second search that we're going to set up. But the concierge mode, essentially what it does is anytime there is something new that is that appears on the system as a property, before it is sent to your client, it is sent to you to verify if this is something to be sent to your client. I mean, I'll say if we had 10 times the real estate inventory that we have today, and we don't, then maybe I would use it just to get rid of some fluff and properties that my clients wouldn't like. Sadly, we don't have that much inventory, so I actually prefer, any and all properties to be sent to my client just so they have a copy of it right away. And who knows, maybe it's going to be something that they like, right? Again, I'll show you the concierge mode later on a second attempt of the configuration. And also, when it comes to scheduling, as you can see, it starts off on daily, and it starts off all AM selected. You can have all PM. You can clear. You can clear both. You can select again as you see fit. I personally prefer that the messages are sent as soon as possible. That way, it's not like it's waiting for tomorrow morning to send it to the client. No, let's say, Louise, if you put in a new listing today, in 5 minutes, my clients will have it a minute after that, which is great. That's what I want. I want my clients to be aware that new properties go on the market. You can choose that daily morning, daily PM email schedule, or monthly, which is the first of the month at midnight, which is probably more for a client who kind of stopped looking, but you kind of keep the search active just in case if they want to maybe come back at some point, I suppose. I mean, we can deactivate searches too. I'll show you how to do that after. Is this okay so far? Is everyone happy with the general settings here of how to set up the automated email? Yes. Any questions? Anybody? I'm open to communications, of course. If no questions, that's okay too. So I'm going to click save. As you can see, the system gives us confirmation message that the search was created, right? And we wait between 30 seconds and, hold on a second, 30 seconds to maybe 3-4 minutes before an email arrives in your mailbox. Let's see. Of course, now we wait. Either way, I'm waiting for that. I'm gonna show you something here. So anytime you've created an auto email, see that message, that email is here, right? We can always see settings. And as you can see, the previous ones I had from previous courses, they show up as red with an exclamation mark, right? Which really means that they are no longer activated. They've been deactivated, right? Whereas this one is a white circle with a green ring around it, which is really it's waiting for activation, right? Because it says portal visit never, right? So you can definitely keep track of your clients' portal visits. So it really depends. It really depends on when I'm clicking my email box and it doesn't seem to be arriving. I'm curious. I put the junk mail or oh, surprised. Let's see. We can click settings. a_jankowski@hotmail.com. That is correct. So if there's anything to change in here, you can always edit, right? I'm just gonna click cancel. And sometimes it's annoying to wait for the messages to come in. Of course, when I want it to arrive in 30 seconds, it's going to take some time, right? Anyway, I'm going to click resend welcome, just to see maybe system had a hiccup. And it says portal welcome message has been resent to Chris Jankowski, right? Oh, finally. There we go. Not sure why that, but as you can see, this is what I got. Okay, in my came from Centris. This would obviously show your name, but from the Centris server to whom, right? And let's say show pictures. I mean, there's really none, but basically whatever we had here as our welcome message set up before in the when we were setting up the automated search, this is exactly what shows up. So that's why I say if you want to edit this to make it more appealing to your client, be it language or information related, that's when it's time to do so, right? And your signature file, a signature tagline, etc., is in here. So your client will see this, will arrive, and it clicks view all listings. Okay, I see it opened it, and for some reason it opened it Microsoft Edge. I don't know why, but it did. But either way, this is what you see if you are the client, or this is what the clients. Let's put it that way. So this is again, this is why I find it important for us to see this, because usually we just set it up, we click send, and we don't think about it ever again. But it's important for for us to know what is our client seeing and what is it that they can actually do with it. So if you're ever talking with them, you can tell them what to expect and how to go around manipulating or utilizing the system, right? I mean, you can tell them if they click on a picture, well, they'll see a picture, right? They can click next, 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 etc. We're not interested in those, but we can do that. If you click on the address, it'll actually bring you to the sort of the listing with information in here, right? Description, broker remarks, notes, etc. Right? It's all in here. Same as whoever put in the listing, information is in there, right? And we can click on next property, etc. Right? So again, same as we get to utilize the matrix system. So this is sort of the back end as we allow our clients to sort of partake in our system and see a little bit more information about the properties that they're interested in, right? And let's say, because I mentioned also, there is a bit of an aspect of communication, right? So if your client, for example, this one here on Glencoe, for example, this is the property that they like, the client can add a note here. Great property. Can you arrange a visit? Add note. See, this is the client writing to you, the broker. So let's say I'm going to close this now to get out of that. I don't know why, but here we were anyway. Let me just get that out of here. I'm going to refresh what it said here. See, right away, it said that the client did come into the portal, because we did 2 minutes ago. That's when we logged into the portal, right? And we can open it in a portal as well. So we could see it their way as well. Let me just close that for a second. I want to click on results. System. There we go. See, this is the search as we've seen it at the beginning, right? This is exactly what we found for our client. And now, as you can see, the system tells you when it was emailed to the client. Obviously, it just shows today, right? But should new properties pop up over time, it's going to tell you the date on when it was showcased to you or to your client. And also, as you can see, there's a note here, right? See that? It just says click to open listing notes. So if I click on this, great property, can you arrange a visit? For sure. Is Thursday at 7 p.m. good for you? Add note. There you go. Texting back and forth in the portal. So again, depending on your habits, you can have your client utilize this and tell them, look, we can, for every property, you can put your notes, questions, etc. Because they might say, oh, the pool is really nice. Can you check if they already installed the fence in the back that the law is going to require very shortly? Because I can't see it in the picture. Oh, okay, I can inquire, no problem, right? And also, now that we've responded to it, 1 second, click. So see our client. Now it says it was saying 2 messages. Now it says 3, and we have property notes. For sure, is Thursday at 7 p.m. good for you? And they could reply yet again, right? So that's what I mean about kind of communicating back and forth and going, from information being exchanged back and forth, which is kind of neat. Again, if you use it, good for you. If you don't use it, that's okay too. It depends. Maybe you're just accustomed, or your client is accustomed to doing texting or using WhatsApp or WeChat or Signal, Telegram, whichever way we communicate, right? Whatever is convenient to your client. Every culture and subset of the market seems to have their own. Having said that, that's automated searches. How does this seem to you? So far, so good. All right, thank you. So, that's how you said. I mean, I'm gonna do another one, of course, but I just want to show you, like, let's say if we would be starting, starting over again here, right? And see, I added it. I added to the hot search, right, or the top 10 searches that people are going into. If you have that many, they'll appear here in the recent portal visitor. So if there's any activity or any notes or anything like that, see, as you can see, if I click on this right away, it'll take you to the listing that you want, and the information or the notes are there, right? So again, everything is sort of integrated, and for you to see at a glance, to see the information and have it as easily available to you as you can, right? If you ever need to go to edit any of these auto emails, for some reason there's something to be done. See, as you can see now, there's a green circle with a white check mark, right? So that means the system that the client has accepted the portal, and they've activated it at least once, so it's active, right? And as you can see, BCC, blind copy of the email, blind covered copy, is being sent to you as well. So every time there's a new property that matches your client's criteria, it will pop up on the screen on your email box as well. So you will know that there's some kind of a change, some kind of improvement that we can, talk with our client about, right? However, if there's any changes to be made, I mean, we can go into the settings of the search itself, right? I mean, look, here I selected myself, right? But let's say you're dealing with a client who has a spouse, or whatever, married, or civic marriage, or whatever, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the situation may be, significant other, maybe that'd be the term. You can put a second email in here. So for me, Chris. Ooh. Chris at Jankowski.ca. I can use it as a carbon copy. So from now on, it'll send it to their client, to your client, and their significant other. If you want to change the criteria name, or if you want to change anything in here, you can still do so, right? And you can always disable the search, so it's going to be turned off. But here, I'm just going to click save, and that's the only thing was added, is that extra email box to it, right? And again, if you ever want to see what the client sees, you can click open in portal. So basically, it's exactly what they're seeing. It's just, as you can see here, it says BCC portal for client name, right? So you're kind of seeing what they're seeing, okay? But without making any changes to it, like they still have full access to everything without any change. But you can kind of see it what it is. If you ever want to change the banner here, or any of the corporate or personal real estate information, you can do so from within the settings of the matrix tool. There's that. Let's see. I mean, you can see here that one email has been sent, right? Obviously, just today, the initial email. So as new properties pop in, the system will itemize it one after another, and you'll know exactly when they were sent an email with a message. And also, if you click results, because the dates of when it was emailed are there. So like if your client says, look, I was driving to work this morning, at a red light, I saw I had an email from the system. I clicked on it. There's a wonderful property. I want to see it right away. At lunch, let's say. I don't remember what street it was on, but it was the new one from today. You know, so I mean, it happens. People don't always pay attention, right? So if it's a new one from today, well, it would, you know, I mean, assuming there was only one, that's the one that you know that they're talking about, right? So that's kind of the human interaction is something that we can definitely deal with, right? It helps us to kind of manage our client and make sure that everything is dealt with properly. Is that okay? I'm gonna go into criteria. I'm gonna go into, I mean, actually I should say, you can always go into criteria, right? And let's say the properties were not what they were liking at the $3 million mark. So let's say the client says, you know what, show me properties only after the 5 million and up. Okay, well, we're down to 3, much fewer. But if that's what the client wants, that's what the client gets, right? You can click results, and if you click here on save, see it says update. So you don't have to create a new search criteria. You can just update to the search, and you can change name, let's say to updated, for example. And see, it kept the email, the secondary email, and I'll click save. And now it's been updated. There we go. So if your client has any I mean, number of bedrooms, the price, garage or not, or parking outside, whatever the case may be, right? You can always update it on the go without having to recreate the automated search. You're just modifying it on the go, which is nice. I appreciate that, because basically I tell my clients, look, after the first, after I set it up, after they go onto it the first time around, I tell them, look, go in there, see if the houses that are appearing are to your liking. If they tell me no, I want something newer, okay, let's say I'll put 2000 plus, let's say, or 2002, or whatever the case may be. Or I was hoping maybe we could see 4 bedrooms or more, or instead of 2 bedrooms, So again, the things we can work on. And let's say I'm gonna go do another search. Let's see, condos, let's say, general search for condos. This time around, well, okay, I don't know where else to search for condos other than, let's say, downtown Montreal, but I'm open to suggestions. If anybody has any suggestions, do you want to see maybe Laval or anything like that? I'm open to it right now, if you want to tell me. I just want to set up another search on the system here to show you what other options we have, etc. Right, so let's say Montreal, Ville-Marie, obviously we're at 1,000 plus searches. Let's say they're looking for something under 600K. Oh, I think 1 0 too many, right? 2 5. Now it's close. 600, only 906 results. Let's say we're looking for a 2-bedroom place with a garage, at least one garage, right? And bedrooms above ground. And we're looking for divided co-ownership, not undivided. Look, we're down to 80. How quickly? NDG, Louise. Okay, yeah, let's check NDG. That's fine. Sorry, I just noticed you write it there. I don't mind. Let's look for NDG. Down to 9 with the same criteria. NDG is not easy. Well, actually, the garage might be actually the biggest problem in NDG, because 22. Oh, the price. Let's say under 800,000. Under 8. Well, no. Let's go with a garage. We want a garage. Winter is coming, right? 12 results. So, and let's say 2 bedrooms or more. They're open to something larger. There we go, 20. As you can see, we can choose all these things. We can go to the map. I mean, NDG is a large municipality overall, right? So, which part would you be most interested in? Let's say Monkland-ish area, or we're looking all over the place? Or more Côte Saint-Luc? What would be your preference? I'm talking to you as if you're the buyer, so you know. But let's say all of them, right? I mean, the results are there, right? We see, and as you can see, there are a few here that have accepted offers. I generally don't want my clients to see anything that has an accepted offer. To me, you know, once there's an accepted offer, the likelihood of getting it from my client is small. I don't want people to get excited about those. And there's still 17 other properties to show our client in here, so it's probably best not to show them that. Let's say I would click here, save auto email. For the sake of argument, I'm just going to go with the same Hotmail account. This is me, but if we want to create a new account, we can do so. It's created on the go. This was actually a nice improvement with the system about a year ago, maybe a little bit, maybe a year and a half or so ago, because we weren't allowed to add a new client on the go. We always had to we have to go back to add a user, import it in, and then only we were able to send information to them. Whereas here now we can create a new user, a new buyer on the go, which is nice. Let's say I'm going to call it again 2023 10 18 and the NDG condos. Yeah. And let's say if I want to make some changes here, I mean, let's say you can make NDG condos for your approval, 2 bedrooms and larger with a garage. 800K or under. Right? I mean, whatever you write, you can put it in here in the welcome email or the recurring email. And we can enable the concierge mode, right? Because as you can see, the page saves the search criteria, the 20 listings, plus any new matches as an auto email, not the 17 checked listings. So even though I don't want my client to see, the system is saying, look, if you don't do anything about it, it'll be shown to your client, right? So this time around, I'm going to go with the concierge mode, okay? And as you can see, when it comes to the concierge mode, there's no more, when do you send it? Because when do you send it to your client? Because it's going to go to you first, and only once you approve it, it goes to your client. So, and as you can see, now it says save and go to approvals. Click. And as I said, I don't want this one, I don't want this one, and I don't want this one, right? The ones with offers. So I clicked here to select them all, and then I unchecked the ones that I didn't want to show. I mean, you can also do more, perusing than that. You can prune it better, but depends on you and your client's needs, right? And approve selected. These ones, well, we're done. And approved 17 listings sent to Chris Jankowski. Right? So let's see. So this one worked faster, as you can see. And NDG condos for your approval, 2 bedrooms or larger with garage 800K. The title is matching to what we did. This one arrived much quicker. And as a client, hold on, let me just click on it. There we go. So again, the condos, right? Why does it keep on asking? As a client, it shows me the portal, right? So in addition, I want to show you that in addition to the client being to write back to you using the notes feature, they can also select if they like a property or not. See the little heart here? They can choose it as favorite. They can choose it as favorite. Maybe this one as a possibility. This one as a no. This one as a no. And then let's say this one is a favorite. Maybe. Concierge mode, the listings come to us. That's correct. At first, they go to you, the broker, because the system, I mean, here is just the initial search, right? So it's easy to do it because the system lets you just do it right away, and then it sends it to the client. Let's say tomorrow there are 2 more condos that appear in NDG matching our criteria, right? So it'll go to you first. It'll tell you by email, new listings, concierge mode, new listings have, for this search for this client. You'll click the button and it'll take you to the system to approve or deny those properties, or discard, I should say. That's the official term there. And the ones that you approve then will be sent to your client. Only then. This is where, I mean, the concierge mode is nice and useful if you want to have that control of what is sent to your client. As I mentioned, personally, as a broker, so I'm going to take off the trainer hat and I'm going to put Chris, the broker hat. I prefer for these, if a new property appears on the market, I want my client to know as soon as possible. I mean, I still want to know by being on the BCC list, so I'll still get a message on my system saying new property has been, found for your client in that with that search criteria. I still want to know that it happened, but I don't want it to wait for me to approve before they get it. I'm running around, I'm doing visits, I'm talking to a seller, meetings, etc., or I'm doing my renovations. I'm depending what your hobbies are. I don't want to be the limiting factor whether my client sees a property or doesn't. I want the system, like if there's something there, I want the system to send it to them ASAP without having to wait for me. That to me personally, that makes sense. It depends if it makes sense to you, but I guess play around with the system, see what functions for you best, right? So I hope that answers your question, Louise. All right. So as you can see, I marked, a lot of them what I like, some of them I don't, etc. Right? So as you can see, if you would log in, zoom in, sorry, if you would zoom in to here, you can see which one the client liked, which one they didn't, right? And this allows the client some, sense of control over the system. They can also see it as a list. They can see it as boxes, but most of us, I think, prefer to see it on the map because people also like to see where the property happens to be, right? I think that's kind of important. Again, it's up to the client to choose whatever they want. And I do want to point out that if we go back to our, this is our search criteria for that property, right? I'm going to refresh this right now, or actually, no, I'm going to go to auto emails, NDG condos, click results. See here? Whatever the client chose as a favorite or a possibility or discarded, we know. So it's just another way of interacting with the client yet again. So some people might want to just look, I marked 2 properties as favorites, forget the other ones, right? So you know which ones to book visits on, or you know which one to call and find out more information, availability, date of, occupancy, etc. Whatever the case may be, right? Or when they're open for, open to taking a visit. Again, the advantage here is the interaction with our client. So whatever they report, like they don't even have to call you or text you, or they might just, they're busy at work too, and they send you a quick text. Thank you for the portal search. I've selected 4 properties in there that I like. Can you book the visits for this weekend as we discussed? Boom, done. Perfect. Right? I mean, the idea is just to get that flow of information going back and forth so we know what they want to see, what they are looking for the best or most likely. So you can make some adjustments to the searches as well if you see that at some point they're not liking a certain type of property or whatever the case may be. And we can book the visits to take it to the next level, and then we can hope that something that we find for them is something they're going to like, of course. So again, the tools of our trade, they advance over time and become a little bit better at all times. And as you can see, the ones that had offers, they weren't sent out to the client. It says never, right, for email date. So if at some point you notice that the offer didn't work out, because you can also put the properties in watched listings, right? I mean, let's say, and this is not related to searches, but if you want to have let's say this one has an offer, you can put watch listing, and you can say Chris, let's say, right, whatever, right? And you would email's invalid, but you would say CPP if it fails, show to Chris, right? So you can click to watch it, right? You are now watching this listing. So if there's any modification, you will know, and then you can say, look, Chris, property X just came back on the market. Their offer failed. Maybe you're interested in it as well, but maybe it's worthwhile to go visit it. Let's go see, right? How's this so far? Any questions? Or is everybody okay? Good. Zijuan, Fungai, you're good. Paul, clear crystal. Sylvie, all right, good. That's what I like to hear. I want you guys to be able to use these tools as best as possible. After all, I use this all the time. Automated searches is something that we do, right? I mean, you set it up for the client, and we want that flow of information back and forth, so we can actually be part of the search, and maybe we can make suggestions, modifications, etc., of things that they didn't even think about, right? So I find that it's a good tool. I use it all the time, right? It beats sitting at the computer in the morning and having to do a manual search for a client at all times. The computer does it for you in the middle of the night. Great, And of course, let's say that this search is no longer valid, right? I mean, we can delete the auto email, right? But instead of deleting, let's say the client says, look, I want to take I'm going away to Europe for next 3 months. I'm not going to be here. Let's take a pause. Once I come back, I'll start thinking about buying a property again, right? Well, you can delete it, or I can change the settings to being just monthly, or I can just change it to disabled, and I click save, and where it goes back to having this red with exclamation mark. So it's still set up. None of the settings, none of the search criteria disappeared. It's just not active. So it's not going to be sending new messages like it says last run today at 2:56. It's never going to run again. But if you're ever looking, look, I had something set up for the client. If you want to click the results, you can always click the results. For you, it's available. It's just not available to the client. Okay? So that's something to think about. And you don't have to go to My Matrix outer emails back every time. You can just click here, outer emails, to come back to that menu, right? So as you can see, the one that I have set up here, NDG condos, let's say we found them a property, all is well, client is happy. Well, I'm just going to click delete, and then it's truly gone. Because, if they bought a property, chances are they're not looking for a second one on the same day, right? I wish they were, but they're usually not, right? So, any questions? We went through setting up the criteria, the different settings of the automated emails, the dashboard or the modifications to the automated email search criteria as well, and settings, and the client portal, the interaction between client and broker in various ways. And of course, I'm open for you guys for questions at this point, should you have any. If not, that's okay too. But if you have any, now is the time, right? Because I hope the searches are clear for you. And of course, as I just want to say, if you disabled it, let's say the client comes back from Europe, as I kind of said, and now they're back, you can see it says disabled by broker. You can go back to re-enable it for send as soon as possible, click save, and it's gonna send out another message to the client. So it's gonna send them another message saying like this has been re-enabled, and they're gonna have to click on it in order to use it. But it's possible to go back and forth, right? So I mean, again, it happens. The people want to take a break, and there's no point of deleting the search criteria from here because chances are they're going to have the same or very similar after they come back or after they start looking again, right? So I hope that helps. I hope that covers most of your questions. If anybody has any questions in between, of course, you can, find me in the real estate inventor, or I should say member list. I think that's what they call it, right? So if you want to find me in there and give me a shout, you're more than welcome. If I can help you, I will. I mean, I teach at the Collège Immobilier too, so I hope that some of you are my past students. So definitely, I'll see you guys from time to time, which is always a pleasure. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help. The better you are at your job, the better you are at portraying brokers in the industry, which is always a good idea. It's always good to have positive feedback from our clients, right? And should you have any questions that I can't help you with, you can always contact the help desk from Centris, and they are very knowledgeable. I even call them, once or twice a year if I'm stumped about something or they put some new feature and just something doesn't jive with me, and I need to change my thinking. Well, that's you can call 514-762-5264 or the 800 number, or you can email them at the info@centris.ca email, and they will answer any questions you may have.